Welcome to the channel where all you gotta do is fix the Birkin. So a few weeks ago, I was driving this thing to Home Depot, pick up some electrical supplies for the dyno program, and it started running really terribly on the way home. Like it wasn't running on all four. So, you're gonna have to fix that. That's not the most graceful thing to remove on this car. I guess it's a bonnet, technically. So, okay, so number 2 cylinder, I can hold my hand on. No burniness. 1, I get burnt. 2, I get burnt. 3, I get burnt. It seems like number 2 cylinder is not firing. Or at least not firing well. So let's pull the spark plugs out and see what we got. All right, tight, that's for sure. I put these in, so nobody to blame but me. So I bought this car, I don't know, 7 years ago or something, and drove it to work whenever it was nice. So I don't know, 15, 20 times, something like that. One time, on the way home, on Page Mill, it started running like crap. So I didn't know what was wrong with it. So put new spark plugs in, it started running better. Fast forward 6, 7 years, and it's done that again. So I kind of want to understand what's wrong with it. So let's take a look at this and see if we can diagnose it. So this is a 2005 Birkin, which is basically a South African kit car version of the Lotus Super Seven. It's a 2-liter Z-Tac. This is from a Ford Focus. And I think it's essentially stock, except for it's got a giant cam. It's got like a Crane Stage 3 cam. So, and it's got ITBs on it. Race line components, which make really nice throttle response. I think it's got a lighter flywheel in it as well. Obviously the exhaust. And it has a Emerald ECU, which when I got it would not run for shit. It wouldn't start, wouldn't stay running on its own. Kind of sputtered a lot. So not only did I put a catalytic converter on it and narrowband feedback, I did some tuning on it. Just on the fuel, I didn't have any dyno at the time, so it starts up, runs now. It got like 16, 17 miles to the gallon when I first bought it. Now it's getting like 22, 23. So it's better, but we still have this spark plug problem, which I gotta science that out. So let's first things first. Let's do a compression check on this guy. Make sure we got the same in each hole. So in order to make sure this thing doesn't start up, there's no spark plugs in it, but no use putting fuel in there, so I'm going to disconnect the injectors. Don't mind that trash truck. And then I'm going to jam this piece of hose in here so it holds the throttle open, just to make sure that's not interfering with our. See that? Probably not. Matter. Alright, so that's 150. Sounds pretty good for having a giant cam. This is our cylinder of fouled spark plugs. See what that one does. $150 right on the dot. That's relieving. Less concerning than it could have been. And that one's 162. It's a bit higher. Probably not to be concerned, but they should all be the same if everything's equal nick. Okay, so that was 170. So we got 150, 150, 165, 170. So not perfect. So it seems like that's okay. And these spark plugs don't look terrible. Pretty good, actually. It's a Ford engine, so wow. That gap's about 300 miles. We may have to tune these up a bit. Okay, so this is a spark plug kind of gauge. There's other ways to do it, but this one's pretty good. So this one, the old plugs are about 38 thou. You can see that, the light's pretty terrible. It's like a little wedge here, you just slide it along there till it stops. Just under 40 thou. Seems Seems about right, I think. And these are more like 55. The way I do this is just take something hard and kind of bonk it against it until it's what you want. It's 53 now. $48. And 38. So we'll do that to all of them. Throw them back in. You got to be careful when you do this. You hit it too far, then you got to get fancy tools out to actually widen the gap. So easy is just to sneak up on it. 48. Still 48. Maybe this is why the spark plugs keep failing. Keep bonking on them. 45. 38. Utimus. So these, this is another thing I changed since I got this thing. This thing had some air filter thing on it that was from the same company that makes this ITB setup, and it was just decomposing. It was just like a big foam dome thingy, and there was so much garbage in the throttle bodies I couldn't leave that on there. And then part of the junk that the guy provided me when I bought the car was a used version of that was all disintegrating as well. So he saw it was disintegrating and he replaced it with the same part, and of course that one disintegrated too, and put all kinds of garbage through the motor and ITBs. So I cleaned that up as best as I could, and I bought some Volkswagen twin carb air filters and made a little adapter. And the wing nuts I'm not too happy with their aesthetic, but the air filters haven't fallen off, so functional. This one's tough. I've changed actually quite a few things on this car since I got it. I just don't realize it because I've had it so long. So, a little trick. This is just a piece of hose. And in order to put the spark plugs in, instead of using the socket and putting a bunch of torque on it, you just jam the hose on there, and then it kind of acts as a universal. So you can find the threads easy, and it doesn't risk cross-threading it. And then you can get it, you can get all the way to the bottom of the hole, and then it just slides. It just slips on the ceramic, and then all you have to do is go back with the wrench and tighten it to the torque. It also works for removing them as well, because you have to have a special socket to pull the spark plug out. It has like a little rubber O-ring in there, but nobody has those anymore, so just use a 5/8 socket. For some reason, spark plugs all of them are metric threads, even back into the Model T era, but they have American hex sizes. I don't know what weirdness was going on back then, but it hasn't changed a lot. So all All spark plugs have metric threads and American hexes on there. Makes no sense. It's a world we live in, so. Alright, so spark plug wires back in. Alright, and we'll put the injectors back in. That'll probably make it run better. Alright, see if she runs any better. Good. Mystery not solved, but maybe not new potential spark plugs next time. And maybe I'll order another set of those and put them in the back seat along with a spark plug tool. So if I have this thing really far away from home, I can not have to limp it. For a test drive. So all fixed. Do a quick walk around of this thing. Essentially a stock Birkin, but there have been a few upgrades. So it's got a cooler on it. Was there when I bought it? I think these are from a Suzuki motorcycle. I've also replaced the stock cheapo shocks with some nitrons, front and rear. Double adjustable. I've also had the ball joint brake, which is fun. You can see the little scrape on the inside of the wheel there. That was fun, going down Page Mill Road, which is like a little twisty road from Skyline down to 280. As I said before, I added a catalytic converter, made it a little bit quieter. It definitely smells better, and then there's a narrowband oxygen sensor that feeds back into the Emerald. The Emerald wasn't able to do that when I bought it. I had to send it back to Great Britain and have them do an upgrade to it, and then they sent it back, and then it was able to do oxygen sensor feedback stuff. I've also added a bike rack, so I can stick my mountain bike on the back of it and go zooming around the trails. It had a big ugly tire carrier thing on the back, which, yeah, it was pretty terrible.
I also took the really cheesy seats that say Birkin on them, and they weigh about 4 ounces. These came with the car, and they were kind of torn up, so I had them reupholstered at a local shop, and they put the holes in for the 6-point harnesses. So it only has 6-point harnesses now, which my wife hates, but whatever. And then one of the really neat features of these cars that everybody knows but nobody knows is there's these stone chip, I don't know what the hell they're called, but they make it so when the stone's coming off the front tires, they don't chip the paint off. What they don't tell you is when the stones hit that, they bounce and they go in your ear and your eye, and they fill the passenger seat up with, you know, stones. So you drive this thing 30, 40 miles, you end up with a seat full of stones. So I added these guys. The light's better on the other side. I just bought some neoprene material from McMaster Car and put those on there. And they don't make it stone free, but they definitely help a bit. So also this stone, or this heat shield, that was you can see the mounts are still on there. There used to be a heat shield on there, and it just constantly rattled off. So I have plans on replacing this exhaust anyway, so I didn't bother fixing it. But there's going to be a turbo sitting right around here sometime in the future, and then this will have a different exhaust system, so I didn't bother fixing that yet. And yeah, that's about all the modifications I've made to it. It's been a really good car, actually. I've probably put 6,000-7,000 miles on it, I think. So yeah, the turbo's got to go on next, and then the rear shock absorbers. When I changed to the nitrons, I put nitrons on the back as well, so I had to make some new brackets and stuff for that. And there, I got to change the valving on those. They're a little bit stiff. The spring rate's good, but anytime you hit a bump, like a really sharp, abrupt bump, it's not good. So, and my wife doesn't like driving in it because of that. Well, because of a lot of things, too much tension, blah blah blah. But other than that, it's pretty good. I would like to get a cold weather kit for it, but the Birkin people don't ever answer my requests for such a thing. It's been on order for years, and apparently they don't want to sell anything to me. So anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Put any comments in you feel necessary if you want me to add more detail to this, but highly recommend this car.